What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be making another one of these videos. We're going to be talking about the current meta for Naraka right now. So they made some changes. First of all, I'll just get started with the patch notes. Basically what they did was the greatsword, now you can stagger the weapon like no tomorrow. Basically with the greatsword, you no longer have to do this and then run out because you're afraid of his focus attack. Now you can actually sit there with any weapon in the game outside of another greatsword because it's too slow. But with any other weapon in the game, you can actually sit there and spam the greatsword stone form, and you can literally sit there and just do that, and you can just keep doing that over and over again. I'm trying to get him to. Alright, so you can just keep doing that over and over and over again, and he can't get out of it. And that's just guaranteed hits. Like, he can't blue focus yet. All of that, he has to respect all of that now. Like, you see what I'm saying? All of that he has to respect. You can even do something as cheesy as this. And then you can, like, back out or whatever. But now, since greatsword literally is staggered for so long, what that opens up is even something like this, right? See what I'm saying? Because he's staggered for so long, his stuff doesn't come out as fast, which allows for you to chain dodge attacks. So you can do something like light, dodge light, that into that, and that's all guaranteed pressure that he can't get out of. That's just free. Like, I'll show you. That's free chip. Literally, greatsword is the worst weapon in the game now because you can literally chip away at its life for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Literally, you're just clanking away. So if you want to do this the best way, I would do a light into a vertical light into this, and then from there you can either go into this, your quickest one, because that's actually the best one to do at that point. If you try to charge after you do this, when you try to charge, his will come out faster than yours, so you don't want to do that. So that's not a viable way to do it. But if you do dodge light into this, into that, that is viable because it's faster than everything that he's going to throw. So that makes dodging out of stone form really risky because you can just do this, and that comes out at the same time as his stone form focus attack will. So you're putting the greatsword in the defensive position literally every single time that you proc his stone form. You can literally sit there and just keep doing this over and over again, you know, and there's nothing he can do about it. So yeah, that's pretty scary. So now he has to guess if you're just going to throw one light, or if you're going to throw two, or if you're going to throw two and then the focus attack, or if you're just going to throw one and then in a focus attack, or you're going to throw two and then dodge his thing. Like, you can tap dodge and then you can do something like that. There's so many options for the player against the greatsword now that it's actually ridiculous. Like, for example, you can even do something like this. You can do like dodge light, jump that. Right, you can do that too. So like, literally anything that you can think of that's quick enough, you can do it, and that's all guaranteed like chip damage for the greatsword. Like, he can't do anything about it. So that's pretty cheesy. And dodging, like I said, they can dodge out of a lot of things because they have iframes. However, dodging out whenever someone's doing this is really risky because, number one, the greatsword is really slow. And since whenever you dodge, the only thing you can dodge into is a light attack or your focus charge. And all of that takes time, which means if you're going to dodge out and do that, if you just keep doing this, there's no way for him to get out of that because you're just going to keep clanking. And that means you're just going to regain your stamina and you're just going to keep clanking your stone form. He's just going to lose the chip battle over and over again. So greatsword's worst weapon in the game. It's still good, but they gave it a damage nerf on top of this major nerf right here. So it's definitely not meta. If you're going to be using the greatsword high level, I would just put the weapon down for now because it's going to make you lose a lot of games. However, they did buff the damage on that attack and also on that one right there. So, and then your focus of horizontal too. So one thing that you can do to be cheesy is this. In order to whiff your first focus attack, so that way you can bait the parry and then punish their parry attempt, and it's completely safe, right? So there's literally no downside to doing this. Now you can can be parried, but what the person has to do in order to parry you, they have to like see that you whiffed it and then dash forward and then parry you, right? Now what you can do in order to counter all of that is you can just make them boat whiff and then dash out, but there's a gap so you can still be punished. So basically greatsword really doesn't have any true mind games or mix-ups now. And if you already know about how this isn't true mind games, that's not true. You can get out of all of that. All of this you can beat with just one option select, right? So none of that is realistic. That's not scary. So greatsword lost all of its pressure, which means that weapon is going to be really, really hard to use now. It's going to be still really good for hitting people who aren't watching you or whatever, but it's just going to be super easy to beat now. So yeah, that's one thing. That's the greatsword for you. Okay, now let's talk about the dagger. So the dagger right now, you no longer can do any combos with the dagger, none whatsoever. The only combo that you have is this one, right? But you can't get this anymore. That's no longer possible. So the only combo that you can get is this right here. That's the only combo that you can get. And to speed it up, you got to do it like the tap ones too. Hold on, I messed that up. But so yeah, that's if you do the quicker version, but that's all that you get now. You don't get anything else from that. That's a pretty major nerf. That's what normally happens now. Every once in a while, you'll still get it here and there, but you can't, like, it won't allow you to combo off of it, you know. So that's that's a pretty big nerf to the dagger. So yeah, huge nerf. And also on top of that, you can no longer hit confirm off of your soul break either. So yeah, your soul break, you can't hit confirm off of this anymore. That's no longer possible. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for the dagger as far as nerves. You lost all your combos, but you did gain this one thing. Basically, you became greatsword 2.0, the better greatsword. So now greatsword and dagger are the only weapons in the game that can clank and follow up with a focus attack. So now whenever you clank with the dagger, you continue your string, which means you don't lose frame advantage. You don't go into a stalemate. You don't reset neutral from a clank. Now with the dagger, you have frame advantage, because now from a clank, let's say if me and the greatsword we clanked, you can actually immediately follow up with this. You can immediately follow up with a soul break right here. You can immediately follow up with that, or you can immediately follow up with your next light attack faster than they can with theirs. And if they clank again for your next light attack, what that means is then that just gives you another clank, and then you can follow up with your focus attack. Now this means that you always win clank wars. This is basically a quicker version of the old school greatsword. This is extremely oppressive. Now you lost your combos, so it has to be really good, but this is the most oppressive weapon in the game, because you basically, it's a F neutral kind of weapon now, which means you don't have to play neutral anymore. You just simply throw your attacks and you play safe, and you just keep doing whatever you want. Like, there's no way for them to beat that now, you know. And if you clank from here, you can just keep doing it, you know. So the only way for them to stop you is to actually go for a focus attack. That's the only way for them to stop you. But if you know about the dagger dash, that the focus attacks do not scare you on the dagger, and since you have increased range, you can literally just jot out of the way of things and then bait, so you have so much pressure. So now, since you basically know all of that, let's show you like what you want to do now since you lost your combos. So if you ever do land a soul break, just follow up with your next guaranteed attack, because that leads you right into another pressure setup, because that's guaranteed. Same thing with this. If you get this, just follow up with your next attack. Not that one. Hold on. That. Follow up with that. That's your left click. Now your right click will chase. Your right click will tech chase, but your left click will actually hit them right there. So that's a pretty good option. But you can also still do this, and you can punish them like that. So that way, if you think that they're gonna like dodge or whatever, because this still has pretty good like range on it, like it goes pretty far. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So you can still get some pretty good like mobility. You can get some pretty good range out of your crouch attack. It's just so super slow now. So doing this is like god awful. They're actually gonna light you, or even doing it like this into that, or like just doing this is just god awful. They can actually clank you. Like if you do like soul break into this, hold on, I was a mess up. If you do soul break into that, they will literally beat you, which that was never guaranteed before. But let's say you did soul break into this, they can clank with you. That's ridiculous. So you actually lose frame advantage. So that means if you go for this jump now, somebody can just literally charge focus and then start punishing you. So yeah, you got to be careful now with that. You're putting yourself in bad situations by ever going for this. You never want to throw that out unless you know for a fact that you're making a hard read. So that's a pretty huge nerf to the dagger. However, you did gain the best neutral in the game. So now you can basically do this. I'll show you. Right? See, you can immediately go into that, right? So that, see what I'm saying? You can immediately go into your pressure. So that's really, really scary because that, see what I'm saying? And you can immediately go into that. So you have all of your options off of any sort of clank. You win, and not only do you move back a little bit, which makes you safe, right? Because whenever you do it, you can just stand back. It pretty much does that, right? See what I'm saying? It moves you back, so you have room to work with. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. So you have room to work with while you're doing all of this. So just know that you pretty much, you're freaking goated on the dagger now. However, there is a way to counter this, because I know people are already going to complain about it. There is a way to counter this, which is anytime you see that animation of him like doing that little backward little motion on the dagger, all you have to do is just iframe. You can either tap dodge iframe, or you can sprint dodge iframe at the right timing. And that'll negate this, and it'll also negate soul break, because they have the same timing. Now delays will beat you if you just do it preemptively and they're a smart player. They're gonna do delays and all of that. But however, if they're just a newbie player, then you can just iframe that junk, or you can just go for the parry if you're risky like that, or you can just tap dodge and then punish. The thing about the longsword is you can go for combos on a longsword, because your combos now, that's one of the things they changed for the longsword. You no longer can get this guaranteed. That no longer goes into that. That's not guaranteed anymore. The stagger on that is try. You can't even get that into that. Like none of that junk is guaranteed anymore. You can't hit confirm anything off of your horizontal attack because it had great range and all of that. So yeah, they took that out. However, what this means is now you really have to use your vertical attack, and since your vertical attack is really, really good, and it's where your combos come from, and it's not crouchable, it's always been the better option to use unless you're trying to chase somebody. So what this means is, normally whenever you're playing high level, you're going to do this and you're going to dodge attack, right? Or do something like that to beat around, or like do something like that. So you always play off of your vertical attacks anyway. So what this means is, if you do something like this, that gives you time to hit confirm. So you still have your two picking combo, or you can just do the little thing like that and you can still get that. So it's still a viable way to play. And that's why I say you can go for combos on the longsword, because you can get that. Now, you don't have the range that you used to have, so that has gotten a huge nerf. That doesn't go nearly as far as it used to. But you can still play like off of this. So, but it's really, really weird to hit now. So it's like, even if you hold W, sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. It is what it is. However, that's pretty much everything for the longsword. You can go for combos on the longsword. Now let's talk about the spear. So why can you go for combos on the spear? Well, the reason why is because of two reasons. Number one, the hit stun on them is ridiculously long, that you can actually like react to that and never have to do it preemptively. Like the longsword, you can afford to do it preemptively because it's a part of how you naturally play the weapon. But for the spear, it's so slow. Like this attack is so slow, you can actually react to the first one hitting him like, oh shoot, and then you can actually get that combo off pretty easy. Now your combo for the spear would look like this, and that's basically like a full like combo punish. And that's real. You never have to do that preemptively. You can sit there and react to that. Like I said, you have a lot of time to do that. So that is a super easy weapon to hit confirm on. Now, since we got that out of the way, let's actually talk about the like the current meta of this game right now. So if you haven't been keeping up with the meta, then I'll just go ahead and I'll explain it really quick to you. So the meta right now is to basically play click everything, and since they're taking combos out of the game, the only weapons that really have, well, all the weapons still have combos except greatsword and dagger. Dagger still has a combo, but it's off of its freaking focus attack that no one ever throws up because it's too slow. So you don't have combos on the dagger anymore. So dagger and greatsword no longer have combos, but every other weapon does still have a combo. However, that's not going to be viable in the long run because everyone's starting to realize that click katana, click dagger, click longsword, even though that's not the proper way to play the longsword, click spear is the way to go. And what does that mean? That means you really never leave the ground. That's really what that means. You're just playing like one click, like stuff like this, and you're just like, you're never leaving the ground. You're just staying in, you're abusing your tap dodge frame, your tap dodge, right? Or you're gonna sit there and like do something like a sprint dodge and a charge or something like that. That's basically what click everything means. It works like that for pretty much every weapon in the game except the greatsword, because the greatsword has always been a click weapon. There's never been really combos on the greatsword. So what does that mean for you as a player? What this means is, in order for you to be the best of the best, you're going to have to get a few things in your arsenal, which is your downright reaction time, and then your option selects, and then on top of that your parries. So currently right now the best way to parry in the game is to do this, where you hold this, and then before you let me put on my overlay so that way you guys can see it, so that way it's not too confusing. Sorry for the noise, but it's basically like this, right? You can also do it with your left click, right? But once you see the blue, once you hear that shing sound, once you hear that, you can't do it anymore. It's gonna actually fly. So once you hear that, the only thing for you to do then is to crouch counter, right? So if you hear the blue shing and you still want to do it, crouch counter. That's the only way to do it after that. The crouch counter has a little bit of a delay to it, but this has no delay. That's extremely quick, right? That's a reaction parry, so that's the best way to do it. So if you're dodging in, you can reaction parry, right? So you can do like this and then reset it to bait it again. Let's say if you still want, if you don't ever want to crouch counter, you just use an extra dodge to do it. So if you think they're going to delay, you can like do it and then do like that, or you can do like that and then do it again, or you can do this and then do that. You can do that. So yeah, you have a lot of options as far as like doing that move. So yeah, that's how you that's the best parry in the game. Your second best parry in the game is actually to dodge counter, right? Not with the focus attack, because that's cool and everything, but like I think I put it in one of my recent shorts where I did this and I tapped dodge backwards, right? And then I threw a light in between to option selected, and then I did a dodge counter. Dodge counter is the fastest counter in the game outside of this. So it's your best one, because what you do is you get a quick sprint dodge iframe, and then right after that you get a counter. So you really want to use this one. This is the best one if you are in the middle of like an attack. You want to do that. If you're in neutral, you always want to do that one. But if you're in the middle of an attack, always do the sprint counter, right? So let's say you're charging, that's your best one to go for, because I want to be clear on this. So this crouch counter actually comes out faster, right? So that's not what I'm saying when I say it's faster. What I mean is, if you do this, you get an iframe that immediately allows for you to negate the first hit. It's like an option select parry. You get what I'm saying? You automatically get an iframe, and then you get a counter right after that. But with this, even though this technically comes out faster, hold on, let me do it really quick. Even though that comes out faster, if you time it perfectly, it's not worth it, because you lose the iframe, which means you could get screwed by something if they did a light attack or something like that. You know what I'm saying? If they baited you with this, if let's say they did that and they baited you, if you did crouch counter, you're going to be able to iframe that light attack and then parry after that. But since he whiffed, it's resetting neutral pretty much. But if you do this and you go into this, you're gonna do it faster, but then that light's gonna hit you because you don't have the iframe right there, the sprint dodge iframe. So you always want to do that. Always. Anytime you're charging anything, just do that. Always. So yeah, that's pretty much your counters right there. The one that you don't want to do is short hop. You don't want to do that one at all because that's so risky because it takes you time to get back to the ground. So yeah, that's not a good one. And yeah, so but I would use that one the least. Crouch counter is better because you stay on your feet. You don't really want to be in the air unless you're trying to do like some Sonic Fox type of mindset where you're purposely putting yourself in a bad situation to get your opponent to be aggressive to play directly into your hand, right? So I do that a lot. I'll purposely jump in the air. Like I'll purposely do this and knowing that I didn't get the hit confirmed just so I can get them to want to like throw something really aggressive to try to punish and I'll go for a counter. That's like a Sonic Fox type of thing where you put yourself in a bad situation to get them to be aggressive and that plays into your hand using their aggression or using your weakness as a strength. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I normally do, but I wouldn't recommend doing that if you don't know the player yet. You got to really kind of play smart to do stuff like that, and I still get caught a lot of times with that, so just be careful with it, but know that you still can do that and it is pretty viable. So yeah, so that's pretty much all your parries in the game. So since we got that part figured out, that's how you first get your neutral up to par. Now let's talk about the offensive side of neutral that you're gonna have to get to par in order to participate in the current meta of this game right now. So in this game, you really have to not only just dodge, like tap dodging. You have to so you have to tap dodge a certain way. Like for example, that one right there. If you tap dodge, and again, if you don't like learn to animation cancel your tap dodges, you're not gonna be able to really abuse tap dodges because some tap dodges you can like do like really quick ones like that, where you really like you can't tell the difference between that and that. It's like a little bit of a difference, you know what I'm saying? You can definitely still see it, but it's a little bit of a difference. And what you do is you just kind of aim down a little bit, and that's literally it. It doesn't bring you as far because you're not trying to go all the way out in BFE. It just brings you right there, and it gives you the length of the iframes, and you stay right there. So that's a good way to tap dodge if you're trying to keep your position or stay close to punish. Is like, for example, if I see like a spear person charging, I'm going to tap dodge right there to the ground, and it's going to track towards him. So it's going to do exactly like that. So yeah, that's the best way to do it. So you kind of want to bump into your opponent whenever you tap dodge, so that way it stops you, and it kind of does that. Now another good thing that you can do is you can actually cancel your tap dodge with weapon switching. A lot of people don't know this, but this is actually, I said this a long time ago, but this is the meta. This is going to be the future meta of this game, where if you counter, you can immediately do that, right? That's a tap dodge. You can immediately cancel your tap dodges by switching your weapon. That is huge, because you know what that means? If you have two weapons that have really good lights, with really good pressure, you can do something like this, right? That's a tap dodge iframe, which means that's true, right? So that's really, really powerful. You can do that like crazy good. That's really, really powerful, and that actually staggers on some weapons too. So yeah, try to incorporate that. And it's the same way, like let's say if I had a melee weapon, I mean a ranged weapon. Let me hurry up and grab one here. Let's just grab that musket. A musket. Alright. And let's say you did this. You can iframe directly into that. You know what I'm saying? That is huge because that's a tap dodge iframe. So yeah, that's really powerful. Try to incorporate that into your gameplay, because that's really, really powerful. Just remember, so like if you're in a moment where, like, let's say you're in the heat of battle and you're doing all of this junk or whatever, and you're popping off and whatever, and you're like, oh shoot, and you need to do a tap dodge, but you still want to keep your frame advantage, just do that and then do that, and you can literally get the tap dodge iframe and still like have some sort of frame advantage. You know what I'm saying? So that's a really, really cool way to do it. Now it works the best with this because this is a really fast light attack, right? And these two have really great range because the katana's vertical attack has stupid good range, right? And this has really great range. So you can actually dodge backwards. Let me actually reset this really quick so I can show you. You can actually dodge backwards and they'll both still hit. So like, hold on, I'm messing it up. I haven't practiced this that much, but yeah. So yeah, that's really powerful. Try to get used to that. That's gonna be so game changing for you, and you can like micromanage your tap dodge. So that's really what this means is you don't have to sit and wait throughout that whole animation to attack. You can do it, and instead of waiting like that, you can actually like do it, right, and then switch it, right? So you can control your iframe, your tap dodge iframe. So you can do this. Oh shoot, I want to do that, and then get your iframes back. So that's like a really powerful thing that you can do in order to stay like plus or to stay like powerful whenever you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by tap dodging. You can control your iframes now. See what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a really powerful thing that you can do. It's going to take a lot of getting used to because it's different, but it's not that hard to do if you can see it in my overlay. Yeah, and my overlay's on. I'm just making sure. All right, cool. So that's like one thing that you can do in order to control your tap dodges. So again, you need to, if you're going to do a sprint dodge, you have to time that jump perfectly. Now let me show you like some high level tech here. In order to be the best in this game, like I fought a guy, Mevon, dude absolutely destroyed me, and I just couldn't figure out like what he was doing. And then my homie, he showed me some videos, and I was like, oh, so that's what they're doing. And that brought my gameplay to a whole nother level in like literally like 30 minutes. So I was watching a bunch of gameplay, I was studying it, everything, and what I figured out is this. So if you want to be ridiculously cheesy and ridiculously powerful, first thing that you have to do is you have to master the timing of this. You have to first get that down pat, like fine tune that jump, so that way you're not doing like the slow version, which is like that. You don't want to do the slow version. The slow version is going to get you caught. If you can do the quickest version, which is this one right here, if you can get used to doing that, you're putting yourself in a huge advantage. So get used to like timing that perfectly. Once you learn to time that perfectly, there's a little thing that you got to add to it, and it's a quick thing, and I'll show you. This is going to make so many people think that you're breaking the game, where it's a hit detection bug or whatever, but it's actually how the game works. And at first, whenever me and my friend were talking about it, I'm like, that's a hit detection bug. He got hit, but he's still, and I was getting so aggravated at the game. But what I realized as I went back into the lab and I was figuring it out, whenever you dodge, if you just throw it out, it's going to just throw out the light attack. But if you hold it just for a little bit, you see how you see that little flicker of blue? Right? If you can see that little flicker of blue, you see it right there. I'll do it sideways so you can see it. That little flicker. If you can get that little flicker, it doesn't have to be a big one either. It just has to be a little bit. Let me get away from him so that way it's not going to track him. Now, these are slower. Those are the slower ones. You can actually, like, you want to perfect it to where it's literally just a little bit. Those were pretty, like, heavy, because you're trying to see it. I'm trying to show it to you so you can see it, but you can, that is a slow one. That's the fast one right there. So if you can master the timing of that to where you can do that consistently, you can always have hyper armor. And that's what it looks like whenever it's timed perfectly. And that's the same timing of this. And it looks the same, and you're like, how are people getting out? How that's hit detection, but it's actually just them abusing just a little bit of blue armor that they have. So that's how people are doing that. And it works the same way with this. Instead of always doing like these major ones, just do the quick ones. Like that. If you do the quick ones, you can never like get hit out of that jump. So, right? That's a slower one. You can do a quicker one. I'll show it to you. That's a slow one. That's a fast one. Right there. That's the one that you want to do. Right there. That's perfect. I don't know if you can see it, but try to look at my character select so you can see it. I'll do it one more time. That was too quick. Right there. If you can learn to get used to that, that's going to allow for you to tank a light attack really quickly in order to keep your attack momentum going. And it's really powerful. So if you get used to that, you can do something like that, and that's, you're just basically option selecting so many things at once. So that's a really powerful thing that you need to get in your arsenal. Now let's talk about the next thing. This is going to be one of the ones that makes the biggest difference in who's going to win the fight and who's going to lose the fight. So if you're going to be playing click dang near any weapon in the game now, what you're going to have to get used of is controlling your dodge whenever you do your sprint dodge. So I see a lot of people, they'll do like this and then they'll do that, and they're moving and all of that, but they're always dodging at their opponent, right? Even though you're doing all of this crazy, at the end of the day, you're still dodging at your opponent, right? You see how, like, I'm dodging at him, even though I move this way, the attack is going towards him. You get what I'm saying? That's putting you in a situation where if you're not careful, you can get hit by something, and you can run into something, you can walk into an attack, or you can just do something that you weren't supposed to do. You need to have control over that, so you can have control over your positioning. How do you do that? So I'll explain it really, really quickly first. So what you want to do is you want to first look in the direction that you want to go, and then you want to be holding your direction in that direction, right? So you want to be holding your direction in whatever direction that is, and then before you let go of your direction, you want to press your right click or your left click, whatever it is. If you let go of it, if you let go of your direction before you press your right click, you'll always go towards the opponent. But if you keep aiming in that direction with your direction, like if you're aiming and if you keep your W in that direction while you're pressing your RT, that attack will always go that way, and it works the same for neutral. That's the next thing I'll show you in a little bit. So if you wanted to dodge to the right or the left of your opponent and slightly get out of the range of one of his attacks, and at the same time move out of the way of anything that he could do but still be able to hit the light, it would look something like this, right? So that's going to take a lot of time to get used to. Because if I were to do the same thing, but I were to do it improperly, it would look something like this, right? Even though I'm looking that way and I did the thing, I let go of my W before I pressed my R and my right mouse bumper. And because I did that, that's why it aimed towards him. It's going to auto track. So if you want to like negate the melee aim assist, you have to be looking in that direction and moving your direction in that direction. So then that'll allow you to do stuff like that. And stuff like that, so that way you can space things out, or you can just actually let the focus attack go, right? So that's powerful. So you really want to get used to that, because what that can do is that can actually make certain things like viable. Now it's the worst on the katana, because the katana only has its vertical attack for range. Now the range on the vertical attack is actually really, really good, like really, really good. I think that's max space. So yeah, that's really good. If you can learn to max space this, you're going to become a god. And if you can incorporate that into your dodges, you can become goated like that. And you can do stuff like that. So that's really, really powerful. Now, I haven't mastered that yet, but I am going to. But that's going to be really powerful because you have great range on your vertical attack. So that's cool. Now let's talk about the other weapons that do this just a little bit better than the katana. And that's the longsword and the spear. So the longsword, the spear, first of all, number one, that's powerful because it's a double hit and it's easy hit confirm and everything. But that attack, this attack is so cheesy. You can, and like I said, if you abuse the hyper armor thing, you can absolutely go crazy. So let's say you hit it, you can do stuff like that, or you can do and then come back like that. So hold on, I messed that up. You can do stuff like that. Now you have to be really, really quick. This is something that's going to take a lot of time to master, but if you can get used to that, you can go crazy. Or you can just do something like that and then go in. So there's a lot that you can do with this. Just know that like that's really powerful. It works the best if you aim for like the sides, or like to basically get their camera to turn around or something like that. That's how you want to do it. You either go to the back right, back left, or forward to the right or forward to the left. Never do it directly at them. That's the one that you don't want to do, where you like let go of it first, because it's going to bring you towards them. If you do it and you hold it in that direction, you'll go in front of it. that'll get him to turn around, which is good. If you're trying to perfect your sprint dodges and you're wondering why you're always going in front of them, and even though you're doing the sprint dodge while you're not actually like dodging the hit sometimes, it's because you're not holding W. You have to hold W. If you're trying to get in front of someone, hold W and then do it, right? So, and then do it. That's how you get behind somebody. So you have to do it like that, right? So that's a really powerful thing that you're going to have to get in your arsenal. Now, it works the same with the longsword. However, the longsword, it works with its horizontal attack because that's where you have your best range on your horizontal attack. So the way it works with this one is you do the exact same thing. Hold on, that was an input error. So yeah, just know you have to have control over your positioning. You can't be the best of the best if you don't master this. Because the best of the best is going to abuse this, and like he's going to slightly get out of the range of your attacks and then come back and counter attack you with something like that. And he's going to have that max spacing mastered to where he can do that for free, and literally only you suffer from it. So that's going to be the meta of this game. All right, so now since I talked about that, let's talk about another meta piece of this game, which is let me go ahead and do it with a weapon that has a quick attack. Yeah, let's just do it with this one. Let's do it with this one too. All right, so no, let's actually do it with this one. All right, I'll just showcase it with the katana because the katana has the fastest focus attack in the game, which is the reason why it's meta. All right, so with this one, remember how I said if you look in the direction and you aim it, if you move in that direction, your attack goes in that direction, right? Or your dodge goes in that direction. It's the same way with your attacks. If you want to be god tier at this game, you're going to have to whiff things on purpose to punish. Like, for example, and then punish like that. Or you can do something like this and then punish their parry, right? Or you can do something like this and then come back like that. Or you can do something like this and then go like that. You basically, you can just whiff things on purpose. You can do something like that. You can do something like this. You can do a combo after that or whatever. It's up to you. So just know that whiffing things on purpose is a good way to beat people who are parry heavy. If you want to still keep like your ability to be able to do focus attacks, then try to bait them like that. Because if you can have them scared to actually parry, or if you have them like wanting to parry, but then you have them also thinking, well, what if he whiffs it? Then what? Then that's going to create another mind game. Because if they can parry at the proper time and they whiff like that, then you basically, you just made yourself safe. And not only that, but you put yourself in a frame advantage moment. Because if you do this attack is going to come out faster than anything else that they're going to throw, but they can still iframe it. However, what this allows for you to do, if they do try to iframe a tap dodge or sprint dodge, it allows for you to do something like this. And that's going to allow for you to have frame advantage from you whiffing. And that's really powerful, right? So just keep that in mind. Like, if you wanted to like tap dodge parry to be super safe, if you try to do that naturally, this is really slow. You can't do it. But if you switch your weapons in between, you can. Right? And that's a tap dodge. Right? So that's really powerful. So just get used to that. So that's really powerful. And it's pretty unique as far as inputs, but not at all hard. You got that. I believe in you guys. All right, so yeah, that's one thing that you really want to get used to. So if you ever tap dodge and you want to parry really quickly, you can like, oh shoot, what? And then hurry up and switch your weapon and then parry. That allows for you to animation cancel. So again, so yeah, just get used to that. Powerful stuff, powerful stuff. All right, so now let's talk about the last thing in this video, which is the tier list. So current tier list is actually going to make a few people mad. So number one is dagger, because it's basically the greatsword 2.0 but better. Even though you lost your combos, you still have the freaking, you can literally abuse this, because this attack, only the second hit, like that hit right there where it bumps you and you hear that boom, that constantly knocks people out of their parries. I don't know if that's a bug, but If they do not parry at the perfect time, that bump will knock them out. So it's not this attack, the stab. That's not what you're parrying. You actually got to parry the bump, because the bump is where the attack is actually coming out at. So if you don't parry the bump, the next 3 stabs, you can't parry those. So yeah, that's still super powerful, because you can literally just sit there and then do stuff like this, and then just do stuff like this, and then aim it like that, and you can just keep spamming that over and over again, and they have no way to punish it. You can just sit in blue focus all the time, and it's like, how do you stop it? You can't. And if they throw a light, you clank. If they throw a what do you call it? If they throw a focus attack, you clank. Now remember, this is the reason why I say this is going to be broken, and this is really good, is because remember, now if you clank with the dagger, it gets that initiated counterattack junk. So see what I'm saying? So now that's really powerful, because you can just keep doing this over and over again, whiff it on purpose, and if they attack you, you're getting free counterattacks from it. How do they beat you, right? Now you have a counterattack from it, right? And then just keep doing that over and over again. You literally have this, bro. You're so safe. It's funny. It's ridiculous. So dagger is the best weapon in the game, right? Unbeatable in the right hands. Next up, I have to give it to the katana. The katana has the fastest everything in the game. Its vertical attack, the range is ridiculously good. Everything about that weapon is ridiculously good, powerful, clean, delicioso. The only reason why it's not in first place is because the dagger has the greatsword's stone form pretty much, but it's quicker, and it gets frame advantage. The dagger has frame advantage off of the clank. No other weapon in the game has that now. So dagger is OP, but it lost its combos, so you're gonna have to be a neutral god in order to be good at that weapon. Now katana's in second place. Now third place, now this is where I say people are going to be mad. Third place is actually the spear, because the spear its combos have not gotten touched yet. None of its combos have gotten touched, which means you can still get this. That is still guaranteed. You still get all of that damage, right? And then on top of that, that is hit confirmable on reaction, so you don't have to fish for it, so you're not putting yourself in a bad spot. You have really good, and not only that, the spear, because it hits twice, all of its lights hit twice like that, right? Because of that, you really do a really good job of punishing people, and punishing people who are dodging. The spear is the hardest weapon to dodge against, because you can't really sprint dodge against the spear. You can only kind of tap dodge against the spear, but even tap dodges, you can still punish that, because again, that's a lengthy animation, right? And if remember in my old video, if you learn to stagger this, they literally, it's GG's, right? Because that's such a powerful move. Now again, you can crouch under it because it's a vertical attack. I mean, it's a horizontal attack, so that's where the weakness of the weapon is, but still powerful. Same thing with this, you can hit confirm that. That is super easy to hit confirm. You won't have any problems hit confirming that. So that's powerful and everything, but another reason why it's powerful is because the freaking range on this weapon is ridiculous. Look at that. That's ridiculous, right? And then the ability to just backdash all the time, right, is ridiculous. You have so much freedom with this weapon. It's honestly, it's goated. I actually want to put it over to katana, but the katana's just quicker. If the focus attacks on this came out super fast and they weren't super like telegraphed like that, like if they weren't super telegraphed, then the spear will be the second best weapon in the game. But because the focus attacks are so slow, I can't put it in that spot, because you have to play the spear very like chip heavy, which is a good thing, because you have really like nice chip frames, right? Like you can do that pretty good, right? I don't know if you can see it, but you see how I'm just rocking that blue just a little bit. You can get really cheesy with the hit detection with the spear. So the spear is in third place. Fourth place is going to go to, you guessed it, the longsword. And the only reason why it's in fourth place and not third place is because again, the spear has easy hit confirms. The longsword lost its range. It lost its horizontal hit confirm, which means you can't use either or. You have to use one. And the longsword is just, it's slowly starting to get outclassed by other weapons now, because other weapons are just beating it, and other weapons are just faster than it. Now the longsword still has a really quick focus attack. That's pretty fast. That's faster than every other one except I think the dagger and the longsword have the same timing, but it's faster than everyone except the katana. And him and the dagger, they share kind of the same timing. So yeah, it's a really quick focus attack. So that's cool because you can actually like do this and then go into it, and that's pretty quick. So you still have good stuff on it. It's just it's lacking slowly now. It's gonna start lacking. So now let's talk about last place, the greatsword. You obviously seen it in the video. It's just not the best weapon in the game anymore. That weapon got absolutely destroyed. Yeah. So that is the current meta for Naraka. If you want to be the best, you're gonna have to perfect all of those things that I just put in this video. It's gonna take a hot minute. I haven't mastered it myself, but I know that this is how you do it. I'm not gonna go in depth on option selects and like positioning and all of that extra junk. That's for you to figure out and for me to abuse against you whenever you go against me, so I can still be a goat. But nevertheless, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys share this with your friends, share it with the community. I want everyone to be able to play this game properly, so that way the games are fun. I don't like going in bloodbath and just wrecking people, dropping 36 kills. That's not fun for me. I want to be challenged. I like going against the best of the best. I like to get my butt kicked because then that makes me better. That makes me want to play the game more because I want to be the best, and that brings out my competitive nature. So please share this video if you have friends. Even share it to somebody who doesn't even, play Naraka, who would just be interested in the game and the depth of the game. Subscribe if you want to, like the video if you want to, if you enjoyed it, if it was informational for you, if it was good information. So, yep, that's it. See you guys in the next one. It's JK House. Peace out. Together we can.